Okay, everyone. Well, this is going to be an odd format right now. I'm actually filming with my iPhone. I have my laptop tethered to my iPhone right now because I have an issue with my internet in my house right now, so things are not working the way that they're supposed to. So we're going to try to make this work as best as possible, so bear with me, and I apologize if you're having a few little glitches here and there with everything. But first, let's get right into it. First, I want to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Tennessee Titans 35-24, so they are heading to the Super Bowl. That is fantastic news. That is just awesome. Second, I want to thank my sponsor, outmotoring.com, and their link is in the description below this video, so check them out. I also have a Teespring store, which I believe that link is in the description below, and I'm adding my Patreon to that description at some point, and for all future videos, so that'll be in the description below at some point. First of all, my Clubman. Some of you might be aware, I am redoing the vinyl on the sides of the car, or potentially just not doing any vinyl at all on the sides of the car, because I've had the same R55 on the side of the car for about, a good year and a half, almost 2 years, so I decided to change things up. So everything came off the sides of the car, and now it just looks very plain along the side. So I may actually leave it like that because I kind of like the look of it, but at the same time, I'm kind of dreaming up something else I could possibly put in there to make it really work. But anywho, the Cooper S, otherwise known as the race car, is on its way to Phoenix. It should be there soon. It got loaded up on Thursday, which was a very sad day for me because that was 3 years of work. Lots of frustration, lots of anger, lots of disagreements with the guy who was helping me build this car, and now it's done and gone. So it was kind of sad to see it go, but it's nice to know that the new owner is going to take care of it and fully enjoy that car. Next, new Mini. Yes, oddly enough, I am looking at a new Mini. So anyway, Sonic Liberation, I like that little mix up there of the, hey, dude, Minis are easy to love. Minis are very easy to love, Walter, but they are very hard to let go of as the case came into play. But anywho, I am looking for another Mini, and I came very close. If any of you have watched that Burgundy Clubman video I did, I was very, very close to buying that car, and I decided not to. So it just didn't work for me with that car. It was just something about it. It was a nice car, but at the same time, with that Burgundy Clubman, it's a nice car, but this is the situation. I wrecked a Mini Cooper back in March of 2018, totaled it. It was a ice chocolate Cooper S with the John Cooper Works tuning kit. I loved that car. So the fact that I was looking at another Mini, if I had still had that Cooper S when I went to look at this Clubman, I probably would have bought the Clubman, but I don't. I have a higher mileage 2014 John Cooper Works Clubman, so I really don't want to get rid of that car. So that's kind of why I don't want to get rid of it for the wrong car. So if I'm going to get rid of it for a new Mini, I want it to be the perfect, absolute perfect car, the one that is going to be the be-all to end-all, the perfect Mini, and it's not, and that Clubman was just not it. So anywho, I'm holding off for now, and I'm not going to look at another new Mini at this point in time. I'm hoping there's not any lag. I'm noticing there's some lag on the computer screen over here, but I don't think there actually is because I'm recording from my phone, so the lag is related to my monitor. But anyway, I'm also working on another potential partnership with another company. I can't name names on it, and I can't really go into detail on that, but there might be something in the works in the future that may lead to more cool stuff. I don't know for sure yet, and I'm kind of keeping my cards close and not revealing everything just yet. So that could be coming at some point. As far as some Mini news, the GP3 is almost sold out, and I did get some tech specs. It has a 0 to 62 time of 5.2 seconds, and it has a top speed of about 165 miles per hour. The benchmark for hot hatches is under 8 minutes on the Nürburgring, and it hit it at 7:56, which is a little on the high side, but it's still pretty quick. It's a half second quicker than the GP2, which is pretty fast. It's pretty fast. I do know that U.S. units for the GP2 will be available, arriving late spring of this year for the U.S. market. And I also know that there are only about 125 still available for the U.S. market. So they are still out there. There's 125 left out there. So 125 of you out there need to go buy this car before I stupidly decide to find a way to go buy it. Because you know me, I have to have something. So I'm trying to avoid it, but it could seriously happen. So well, not seriously at all. There's no way in heck I could afford a John Cooper Works GP2 or GP3. So, does a custom build count? How much? What price are we talking for the how much? Because I don't know what the... Oh, GP3, the price? $45,000 after and with taxes, that comes to about 50 grand. So if you want to buy a Mini for 50,000 bucks, go for it. I'm not going to do it. You also can't lease the car. So that's ruled out too. So anyway, if some of you have been paying attention to Facebook or the news, you probably saw that story about the North Miami Beach Bright Line train that clipped a Mini Cooper. So that was an interesting video to watch. I had a chance to watch it. They showed the aftermath of the car, and it's amazing the driver walked away. But if you look at the way the car held up, it also says something about the way these cars are designed and the way that they're built. So that's kind of saying something. If the driver walked away, granted, it's not a big look. It wasn't like a huge train. It was a little commuter train. But still, the fact that the occupants of that vehicle were not harmed, and it unfortunately cost a car, says something about the way these cars are designed, that they're actually really well put together. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty excited to actually see that the car held up, because I've been in a car accident, so I know what that looks like to see the whole front end of your Mini all mangled. So that was not a pretty sight, but at the same time, it's nice that the people were okay. Anyway, upgrades to my Clubman. Well, I'm planning some upgrades to my Clubman. Some of you might not know that a subscriber of mine sent me a sprint booster that I installed on my Clubman, which, the odd thing is, the R55, R56, or John Cooper Works models, the throttle band, or the torque band is a little lower, so there's not quite in the right spot. So the Cooper S's actually have better low-end torque, whereas the John Cooper Works, you kind of have to hit right about here before they actually are better, or before they actually gain traction and really just kind of take off. So they're not as torquey, and they don't feel as quick to me. Now, what I ended up doing is I installed the sprint booster, and what I found is I put it in sport mode. I had it in race mode, and that was the most terrifying experience of my life. So I put it back in sport mode, and effectively it's given me Sport Plus, having the sport mode on the sprint booster, sport mode in the car, and the car accelerates like my Cooper S did. So it's pretty phenomenal. That's one of the first modifications I've actually done aside from the Stage 1 Miniac tune, and there's other modifications coming. I can't name all of them, but there might be something that might make the car a little bit more loud, and there might be something that gives the car a little bit more boost. And that might happen later this year. It might happen before Mini takes the States, but we'll see. So there's that. Like I said, a new Mini is potentially in the works. I could decide to trade in my car tomorrow if the right car came along at the dealership, but I am not planning anything about that with regard to getting a new car at the moment. I'm keeping my Clubman for as long as I have, until such time as another Mini comes along that I really want. So, anywho, the 2020 Dakar Rally was won by, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Carlos Sainz and his co-driver Lucas Cruz. They were in a Mini JCW buggy, and they were 6 minutes and 21 seconds ahead of last year's winner. They crossed Saudi Arabia, 7,500 kilometer drive across Saudi Arabia. The car was represented by Mini USA. I'm not sorry about my Mini USA. The car was represented by Mini, as well as Mini Motorsports partner X-Raid. So pretty cool vehicle, pretty cool win. I think there were almost 10 Minis actually competing in the Dakar Rally, which was kind of cool. But that's pretty exciting to actually see a Mini out in a desert rally. Granted, the only thing that the car shares with the actual production cars, I believe, is just the grille. Then there's really nothing else on the vehicle that actually is the same as the factory car. So that was a pretty interesting situation, or a pretty interesting thing to read, and I was pretty excited to see that. So that is all I really have going on here. We are aware that Mini is replacing the Clubman with a crossover vehicle at some point, potentially a smaller version of a Countryman, as the Countryman is expected to get larger at some point. So we know that's happening, which basically potentially means the farewell of our beloved Mini Clubman. Now, for those of you out there who are diehard R55 fans, this is sad, as the R55 was probably one of the most quirky and probably one of the most unique minis ever built. For the F54, the F54 is kind of an underdog. It's kind of an odd vehicle. I actually really like it in the right configuration. It's a great looking vehicle. Not everyone does, because they quote say you can't have a four-door Mini. And I would disagree with that. I think you can have a four-door Mini. They've done it, and it doesn't look terrible. I mean, even the second-gen Countryman, the F60 Countryman, is probably one of the best-looking Mini Countrymans out there. But you know how people are. They are set in their ways, and heaven forbid you put four doors on a Mini Cooper. So they did, and I don't see any problem with that. But that is all I have on the way of Mini news, as it were, and I apologize if I'm staring over here, because my face is right here, but my camera's right here. So this is the way I'm setting up, the way things are going with my iPhone, so it's a little hard for me to actually, hopefully I'm staring at the camera while I'm talking to you all, so you can actually have a conversation with me here. But I got everything out here that I needed to do. Say, okay, James Baldwin, in my opinion, the 2016 Countryman is the best year. Any more info about smaller minis again? Future of the Paceman. Any more info about smaller minis? Again, there is not much info currently out there right now, so I have no clue really about what is going on with the smaller minis. As far as the R60 Countryman, I think the R60 Countryman is a very good car still. I still think it's a great vehicle. I just think the F60 is kind of the refinement of the R60. The R60 was kind of the first foray into a four-door crossover utility style vehicle for Mini. And while it was successful, I think the F60 is kind of the continuation of that success. They kind of took it and built on it, and I think the F60 is actually a fantastic vehicle. I've driven them extensively, and they are fantastic cars. But I've driven them all, the R60 and the F60. The R60, the only issue I remember hearing about it is that it seemed to have some sort of problem with manual transmission and all-wheel drive. That was the only thing it seemed to ever have an issue with. But otherwise, it was a fantastic car, and it worked very well. The current generation does not use the same transmissions or same all-four systems as the previous ones, so therefore they are actually a better configuration, better designed vehicle. Future of the Paceman. The Paceman, unfortunately, Mark, is not coming back anytime soon. It went the same way as the Roadster, the Coupe, and the Dodo Bird. It's extinct. So I don't see it happening again unless someone decides, some sort of a coach builder out there decides they want to take the Countryman and turn it into a Paceman style vehicle, which unless you live in like Dubai, I don't see it happening, because that's going to take a lot of money to do that kind of conversion, and I just don't see it. So unfortunately, the Paceman is gone for good. It was like Mini's old Bronco, so sad. The funny thing about the Paceman is it was the hype for it. There was so much hype for this vehicle, and in the end, it was a letdown for a lot of people, because in the end, it ended up just being a two-door Countryman with less headroom in the back, worse back seat space, and the liftover for the hatch area was worse than the regular Countryman because of the way the taillights cut in. So, unfortunately, the Paceman ended up being kind of almost a failed experiment at a two-door all-wheel drive. What Mini should have done really was try to find a way to put all-wheel drive into their regular hatchback rather than try to build a SUV version of a Mini as a two-door. I think that there's still potential to do all-wheel drive in the Mini hardtop at some point, and I think if people were able to figure out how to if they took the same hybrid technology that's in the PHEV hybrid Countryman currently and put that into the hardtop, they'd probably have an all-wheel drive or hardtop Mini. In effect, it would be a hybrid all-wheel drive Mini hardtop, but it could also then be front-wheel drive with the gas engine and then rear-wheel drive with electric motors. So it would be kind of a little bit more fun, a little bit more of a toy, as it were, to kind of just have a little fun with this car. So I see that potentially happening at some point, but I don't know for sure. And there's a chance that Mini could still just not do anything like that and just continue to do what they've been doing because they think Mini sometimes thinks they know better than what their customers know. And I'm of the opinion that they really need to talk to their customers a little bit more, really need to talk to the people who've stuck by them from day one, and not just try to follow market trends, because the thing about market trends is they don't last. If you remember the SUV, the collapse of the SUV boom that happened like 2008, we lost like Hummer dropped out of the market. Other large vehicles weren't as popular anymore, and small cars started to become incredibly popular. Around that time frame, small cars were incredibly popular to begin with. But I think that the fact that Mini has stuck around with the small cars in the U.S. market, and the fact that there's a handful of other brands out there like Kia and Hyundai, and even Honda, that are keeping their small cars, and even Nissan, that it says a lot. I'm not going to add Mitsubishi in there because Mitsubishi, I think, is on their last leg with the crap that they've been putting out. But I think that the small car is going to make a comeback when gas prices get ridiculous again, and even, it doesn't matter how fuel efficient your SUV is, it's not going to compare to a smaller car. But, yeah, that's basically what's been going on here. And as Dale would say, yep, customers always right. Don't listen to people, you will fail. I mean, look at Fiat. They pulled the Fiat 500 out of the U.S. market. And here's the thing about the Fiat 500. I think it was a fairly decent car, but they didn't redesign it. They never redesigned the car for however long. So it looked the same way for like 10 years. So why are you going to continue to keep the same car in the market for 10 years and not change anything? Like even Mini is, even though the LCI, even though the 2014 Mini, even though the F56 Mini platform is continuing on to like 2024, they're still fine-tuning and they're still finessing it, and I think they redesigned the car back in 2014 to be enough of an advancement off the previous cars that it's not going to look dated or old by 2024. It's going to still look fresh before the 4th generation Mini comes out, and I'm hoping the 4th generation Mini continues that progressive kind of evolution of the Mini brand, so I'm hoping to see it happen. And that was the other thing right there, Walter. Mini was far better than Fiat. Fiat could not touch Mini. Fiat could not have their cars. The Fiat 500 was terrible by comparison. I've sat in the Fiat 500. It's the most cramped thing out there. There's more legroom in the back of a regular Cooper hatchback than there is in the Fiat 500. So that was one thing. The plastics inside of the Fiat 500 were kind of cheap. The shifter in it was the transmission was only a 5-speed. In the end, the Fiat 500 was trying to stay cute, and it didn't need to do that anymore. Mini is starting to realize they don't need to necessarily stick with the retro kind of cuteness that the car has, the way it kind of looks classic looking. I think they're trying to evolve a little bit, and I don't think the 4th generation Mini will be a terrible Mini. I think it'll actually look fantastic, and I think it will be a great evolution of the brand. But in the meantime, I'm not sure what the new 4th generation is going to be like, and for that matter, I don't think there's even any test mules out there yet, and there usually are. So anyway, I got a message here from Roberto Carellas. Hello, what's the biggest changes for the next 2 years for the Mini 3-doors in your opinion? The biggest changes, we are going to be seeing the digital gauge cluster that you see in the GP3 and you see in the electric Mini. They're going to be doing another facelift on it, another mild LCI, where they're going to do some more changes to it, so we might see some new colors, new steering wheel, maybe a new steering wheel. We might be seeing new colors, new interiors, and new wheels. And I think they're going to do something about the chin spoiler on it, or the chin on the front of the Mini. They're also going to be changing the grille. If you saw the GP3's new grille, they're going to be doing something very similar to that for the JCWs probably, and for the Cooper S's and the Cooper. So we're going to see a lot of changes, a lot of little subtle changes like that up until the point that we get the 4th generation Mini coming out. So that's what we're expecting, but as always, things could change, and they could go a completely different direction altogether. They could be just telling us this stuff is a ruse, and they might already have the 4th generation Mini ready to go. For some of you who don't know, Mini actually had, apparently Mini, from what I read, Mini's 2014 Mini Cooper S, the F56, when it was released, the spy photos actually caught it before it was supposed to be unveiled. So the concept car for that was actually released after the car had already been spotted uncamouflaged. So the concept car for the F-56 was actually done as apparently an afterthought after they had actually already had the F-56 spied. So I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some test mules for the for the G generation. It should be, and it should be the G-56 actually. We might be seeing some test mules of that car sometime either toward the end of this year or potentially beginning of next year. So I'm hoping we start getting some cool stuff out there, and I get some more content because I need more content. I start getting some more content for that generation. So Mark White says, is the traditional center speedometer going away for good? The traditional center speedometer, Mark, is gone completely. It is not coming back. Mini has decided that it's better to keep everything up on the steering column, and in all honesty, I don't disagree with them necessarily on that. And my reasoning behind this is, I've owned several minis every mini I've owned has had the, well, actually take that back. Every mini I've owned that's been an F or been an R generation, aside from the R53, has had the speedometer in the middle. But the first mini I ever owned was a R53 that had the chrono pack in the middle. So I had a speedometer right up here next to the tach. So I never actually had to look at a center speedometer. And me personally, when I look at the center speedometer, the speedometer needle doesn't line up right for me. So what I actually do is I'm usually looking at the digital readout on my tach on my R chassis car. So I've never actually needed the center dinner plate speedometer unless my low fuel warning light comes on, and then in that case it blocks out completely my ability to see how fast I'm going. So in that instance, I've never actually needed the center speedometer, and I guess a lot of people felt the same way. That's why they got rid of the center speedometer. And in the end, it sort of makes more sense. Now, I'd imagine it'd be kind of cool as if they did offer a setting in their gauges. You know how the sport gauges, you can get the sport, when you have sport mode in your Cooper S on an F car, you get that sport gauge thing. It'd be really cool if they actually had that set up so that it would do, when it's in its, I want to call it sleep screen, where it's just a clock ticking back and forth. It'd be kind of cool if they redid that so that it actually linked with the speedometer. So essentially you got this digital speedometer thing on the center screen still, kind of giving you that whole experience still. So I'm thinking they could do something like that, but I don't know if they're going to. But at the moment, there's no sign of them going back to a center speedometer, and that's kind of the evolution of Mini. The first Minis had center speedometer up until a point. If you didn't know this, the later classic Minis never actually had a center speedometer. And I've sat in a few, including a 92 Mini, that did not have a center speedometer. It had one mounted over the steering wheel, or the steering column. So it's a classic thing if you go back to 1959, but it's not a characteristic of all Minis. Yes, Walter and Mark, both of you, I guess, own R53s. Mark's a friend of mine. He has a fantastic 2006 British Racing Green Cooper S John Cooper Works. And I've done one video on it. I'm hoping to do another video on that car again because it was a great car. So I'm looking forward to potentially doing that as well. So we'll see how that goes. So I apologize I'm hoping you're not getting any lag because my computer here is tethered to my phone and it's showing lag right now on the screen. So I'm hoping that that's not actually the case, and it doesn't look like it is the case. It looks like it's just my computer that's having the issues. But at least I'm able to see the conversation I'm having with you all right here. It does have little bubbles that pop up. So your Mini now lives in Indiana. No lag here, Tom McQuiston? Okay, we're good to go then. So that means that I'm actually using the phone and this computer here just so I can see your messages pop up, because I didn't think they would pop up on my phone, but they are. So, anywho, this is also my new backdrop here. I did some rearranging my room so I can actually sit here in front of my computer and do live streams with my subscribers and viewers when I'm sitting in here versus having to go into my studio space over there, which is currently just full of stuff, because I used to have a gallery. If some of you don't know, I used to have a photography gallery, and it closed. So I had to take all of my artwork home. So I have all my artwork is now filling the room that used to be my gallery. So I have to figure out what to do with it all. And it's all mostly Kansas City artwork, Kansas, New England, stuff like that. But it's pretty cool photos, mostly architecture because that's my background. But it's currently sitting there taking up space while I try to get everything resorted and rehanged and put new stuff up, take old stuff down, and really just kind of get it going, get it where I need to. So in the meantime, the studio is basically my bedroom, but with this nice background here, you would not know that unless I actually pulled the curtain away. So there we go. So we got that going. We got that going for me. What else is going on? Well, some of you all know that my Mini was in the body shop. It got out of the body shop, and it's fine now. It looks fantastic. It drives fantastic. So nothing really wrong there. It has 100,000 miles on it, 100,220, I believe. So it's a little high mileage. The modification I am planning coming up, you're going to have to just wait to hear about that one, but trust me, you'll hear it. And that's a hint. I also have a giveaway coming up for 4,500 subscribers, as I am currently at about 4,300, 4,400, I think. I think it was 4,430, I want to say. I'm not quite sure. But the giveaway is this classic hat. And for those of you who are curious about how you're going to win this hat, you'll have to come to the live stream when I actually tell you how to win this hat. It's going to be a trivia thing. So you're going to basically have to have been paying attention to my YouTube channel for a while and answer some trivia. And the first person to get it right gets this hat. Now the catch is you can't answer on YouTube. You're going to have to come to Instagram on the Miniac, or on @the.miniac, and you're going to have to answer the question over there in order to win this hat. So if you aren't already a follower of @the.miniac, the official Instagram for the Miniac YouTube channel, I'd encourage you to head over there and become a follower on it. I post, usually you'll see a thumbnail pop up on there for whenever video I have coming up. You can also get the link in the bio on that account to go to the video. That's where I usually do most of that stuff. Any kind of behind-the-scenes stuff going on, I might post stuff up on there. Anything like this or anything I'm working on, you might see some behind-the-scenes stuff on that as well. There's also, for Patreon members who contribute $10 a month to the channel or higher, there is a special Facebook group called Miniac Insiders, or Inside the Miniac. And the plan with that, right now it's in its earliest phases, and that's largely because I only have one member in it right now. But the plan is I'm going to start eventually doing some live streams in there, possibly next year, as I'm possibly going to switch back to twice a week videos by the end of this year. And the plan is that'll be an insider thing on that channel, where you're going to see random, I might do a random live stream, just like if I'm working on my car or anything going on, I'll do a random live stream on that channel, on that Facebook group, where you'll get to see some behind the scenes stuff of what's going on, or even potentially what I'm doing on my channel. Anything along those lines, you'll get to see it, and that'll be a cool thing to check out at some point. But like I said, you're going to have to, that requires a monthly contribution to the channel to get into that group. But there is some nice prizes to do that. You get with the Patreon stuff, you get regardless of what level it is, you get a 5% discount to the Miniac's Teespring store, so for life, so you can get whatever you want. If you go to, I think it's the second tier on that, you get a Miniac sticker and a special Miniac sticker I'm having made, and you get I think it's either I think it's still a 5% or it's a 10% discount to the store. Higher than that, you get a 10% discount to the store. You get the inside the Miniac Facebook group link. You get the sticker, and you get a grill badge. Now, if you go to, I think it's $50 to $100 a month, and I don't think anyone's going to do that, I will actually send you a t-shirt or something cool like that. So a t-shirt. If you were to contribute a lot more than that, and I don't think anyone out there is going to do that, I would actually, if it's in the continental U.S., I would personally come out to your house and do a video for the channel on your Mini. But I'm going to offer that to people anyway. If you're within a close proximity of the Kansas City area, or if you're going to be on Mini Takes Estates this year, and I'm in the area or general vicinity, get with me, and I'll do a video for your car, or on your car for my channel. So your car will be featured on the channel if you can get to me at the Mini Takes Estates. But there's going to be a catch with that too, and you'll have to find out a little bit about that. But I'm going to probably have random prizes like this still for that event. And there'll be probably other stuff. There'll be ways to get into it, but it's going to probably be an interesting little like game that we're going to play to find out who's going to get to be on the channel. It's basically going to be similar to what I did last time, which is where I basically stuck a emoji magnet on their car. And if you got in touch, and if you found the magnet, it had my contact information on the back, and you have to get in touch with me. Now, I have enough subscribers now that there's a good chance that the majority of the people are going to know exactly what I'm talking about here, and they're going to know exactly what that is. So if they see that emoticon, they're going to know who to contact. But that might be one way of doing it. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I really don't know if I'm going to do the whole Mini Take the States or if I'm just going to do a part of it. But we're going to see how that goes. I also have upgraded my equipment a little bit. I got some filters for my camera so I can actually get out of the sun glare, because if you notice in some of my videos, the glare is not good, and that's largely because I can't always film on the exact times. But what I also did recently, and this is pretty cool, is I ordered this. It's 3D printed, and I ordered it from China because they don't have it in the US. But here's a GoPro, and this is one that I'm actually selling now because it's a Hero 6 and I have a 7 and 8. And this is a sun lens right here. So kind of cool, and it's 3D printed, so you can see the grooves on there from where it was printed. And it just clips right on to the front of your camera. And that is pretty cool, and it should help with blocking the sun out, because I have an issue of getting sun glare in my camera when I'm trying to take video, and I don't like it. So this is a neat little thing here, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $8 or something, and it's on Amazon. And if you're interested in buying one of these and you have a GoPro as well, I can give you the link at some point later. I don't have the link on me right now, but I can always add the link later, and you all can go buy one of these. They're pretty cool. But yeah, it's just a GoPro sunshade, and apparently it only works in operating temperatures of 14 degrees to 122 degrees. I wonder why. Maybe because it's plastic, it might melt. I don't know. But what else do I have here? There is not much else I have going on right now. So we've been going about 32 minutes, and unless any of you have some more questions for me, and before I get into anything else, Walter, thanks for following the Instagram group. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you get a kick out of it. Honestly, if any of you happen to just unfollow, if you unfollowed it, I wouldn't care too much. It's not a huge deal to me. I mean, if it's good content and you enjoy seeing it, great. If it's boring content, obviously I wouldn't stick around if the content was boring. But I always have good stuff coming out, and I always have good videos coming out, and there's a lot more coming to the channel. There's a lot more things I'm working on. There's a lot more changes that I'm working on. And Walter asked me, do I have any die-cast minis? Well, I got one sitting right here. So there's this one. There's also an R50 I have sitting in my living room. And there's then there's an F60 Countryman I have sitting in my living room as well. There are several die-cast models. I used to have more expensive die-cast models, but I got rid of them because I needed the money for other fun endeavors. I also have a radio control mini sitting in the living room as well, and it's a fairly good sized one, but I haven't driven it in a very long time, so that one's kind of just not being used really right now. So, but I don't have really anything else going on here, really anything else to discuss, but I'm always here to answer questions, and if you ever need to get in touch with me and I'm not on my YouTube channel, and usually I'm not, but okay, hold on, I got to get back to this. Mr. 2, you should review people's minis, send photos and options to you for discussion and opinion. I think my mini is the best, of course. We all think our mini is the best, of course. I think my mini is the best. I know that Mark in here would probably say his mini is the best. I think Tom would say his is the best. Walter would say his is the best. It's kind of funny. We all think our mini is the best, but I actually like that idea. I actually do think it'd be kind of fun to do a video where I review other people's cars. My thing is, though, if I'm going to review other people's minis, I really want to do it with the car present, with me present with the car, because I want to be able to actually experience the car and not just look at it from a picture standpoint, because pictures can only say so much, and I don't like doing videos where it's just pictures of the car. That being said, if you wanted to send me B-roll video of your cars, I could work with that. If you wanted to send me B-roll of, like a B-roll walk around, okay, then come down to Australia, bring a fire extinguisher. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll tell you what, how about this? How about this? I'm gonna try to see if I can set something up with you all. But if you all want me to do review videos on your cars, I can do them in front of a green screen. I could put the green screen up as well. But what I could do is I could do a review video on your car if you send me B-roll video of the outside of your car, B-roll of the inside of your car, B-roll of the engine, and you know what B-roll is, just panning shots and just video shots from here and there. If you want to include some driving video of it, I'd be happy to do a review video in that regard then, because obviously if you're too far away for me to get access to your cars, then obviously I'd want to actually have you send the video to me so I can work on it, because naturally I can't fly to Australia, naturally I can't fly to Germany right now, I can't go to New Zealand or wherever else I might need to go to do a mini video. I could do fairly local, and it's a little harder for me to get around the continental U.S., but I can get within a couple 100 miles from Kansas City if I have to do a video on a mini. So if you think that'd be a fun thing to do, I could do that. And at Mini Takes Estates, I plan to possibly do some review videos with Mini Takes Estates, with people who are on the drive, do videos with their cars and with them, and have a little bit of fun with it. So there are plans in the works. There's always something coming up, and I might just abruptly decide to change format at some point. As you can see, I've been doing this live stream thing now for a couple of weeks, and it seems like it's doing pretty well. I'm actually fairly happy with how things are going. Some days are better than others. I sometimes don't want to do it sometimes, and then sometimes I have to. And usually it's just a matter of putting up this backdrop here and putting up lights in front of me to get everything set up so I can actually do this. But I'm thinking I could probably do a cool review video for someone if they sent me their sent me some video of their car that I could actually turn into a video. So I would need that. Basically, I would need B-roll in order to make it work. And as you've seen in the past, I've used B-roll before for videos, even sometimes just as videos. I could turn them into music videos, you name it. But that's all I really have for tonight. It is 36 minutes, 56 seconds in, and I think we've had a lot of stuff to cover. And Mark White just says, congrats to the AFL Kansas City Chiefs on to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. 35, what was it? 35 to 24. That's a pretty good score. And yes, I'm not wearing red right now. I'm wearing green, and that's because it's my, it was cold today. I was outside running errands, and this is my Christmas sweatshirt here. And if you can see, has a red Rally Mini on. Oh, I guess there's some red on it. All right. No, I was just wearing this today to run some errands. But anyway, I have more stuff I got to get doing tonight, and hopefully my internet gets fixed so I can actually get back to using my computer. But I kind of like the video quality on my iPhone, so you never know. I might actually keep using this. I just got to remember to keep staring at the camera right here versus staring over here. So anyway, I want to thank you all for coming in and joining me here. And if you have any questions, don't forget to comment down below. You can also contact me over on @the.miniac on Instagram. You can also chat with me on my Facebook page for the channel if you need to. And I'm always here to answer questions. I'm always here to chat with you. Just don't say anything snide or mean or well, you can go sarcastic. I can do sarcastic, but just don't be a jerk to me, because I'm not going to be a jerk to you. So I don't feel like you should be a jerk to me. But anyway, I hope, like James here says, good night, everyone. So I hope you all have a good night, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever part of the world you're in right now. I hope if you're dealing with fires, I hope those are being under control at some point. If you're dealing with earthquakes, I hope those are being taken care of. I hope everyone's being safe around there. If you're dealing with any sort of natural disaster going on around the world, or any sort of disaster going on, anything that's going on around the world, I hope you're all doing okay, and I hope you're all staying safe and happy. So, as always, life is too short to drive a boring car, so drive a Mini, and I will see you all on Wednesday, because that's the next live stream. And then Friday, I have a video coming up on Friday, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but I'm thinking you're going to enjoy it regardless. So, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, and I will see you all next time.